Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This is a viewer requested video in which the question was posed about, finally telling people about the abuse that you suffered with the narcissist and the effects of that, as well as basically confirming the abuse to the people who suspect it. And, is it healthy to do these things? Well, let's talk about it. A lot of survivors are concerned with opinions of others. I've talked to many survivors in the healing process, and they are concerned with that. And it's one of the things that I would like, for survivors to move away from. But I understand psychologically why people are concerned with it. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they're not validating you at all. So when you come out of that situation, one of the things that you really desire is to be validated. So of course, when you turn to your friends and family and just people in general to tell them what's going on, you want to feel like you're finally getting validated. Something that the narcissist starved you for in a relationship. So I do understand psychologically about that. So to answer the question, is it healthy to tell people? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think, it is a part of the healing process to express yourself and to not push your feelings and, your experiences down. Because I think that would be somewhat of a further internal gaslighting, so to speak. The narcissist would love nothing more for you to be silent. For those of you who are, divorcing the narcissist and have had substantial amount of time, or even just briefly, because I can attest, this last narcissist that I dealt with was the shortest relationship I've ever had, but it was the most devastating relationship as well. In such a short amount of time, they were able to do so much. So, people were going to have questions about what was going on, and I didn't mind, verbalizing that. I definitely wasn't going to be silenced, but you're telling people stuff not because you feel like you have something to prove per se. But, if it's someone that you don't mind expressing this to, or you want to share this with because you want their support, their emotional support, go ahead and do it. But do it understanding that things could go left, that it's quite possible that the person may not believe you the way that you want. It's possible that the narcissist could have came to them ahead of time because, the narcissist was plotting on a situation from the beginning. They can go to your allies to try to recruit them to be their allies, or to at least, plant seeds of confusions and doubts in other people's minds to make you seem less believable. And they'll be setting this up with you before they might even have that final discard, because they know what they're about to do and you don't know. So you could be doing something innocent with the narcissist, and they will take that situation and turn it into something else to make themselves seem more honest and honorable. And I'll give you an example of this. Let's say you were in a relationship with a narcissist who had been a deadbeat parent. And this narcissist finally reaches out to you to try to say that they're going to offer you some type of financial assistance. And you're like, okay. So they tell you to meet them over their relative's house to get the money, because this was quote unquote a neutral place to be meeting, But what are they setting up here? They could have been telling their relatives all along that they were sending money to you, and now the relative is actually seeing it with their own physical eyes. And you're innocently just going because you just want to have this support for your child, and you're not thinking about, the devious levels of a narcissist's mind and the trickery and the foolery that they're trying to pull over, everybody's eyes. So you go there, the relative sees them handing you money. So like, well, I guess maybe he has been sending them money all along, maybe I'm seeing it now, which, that's gullible, but, sometimes people don't scratch beneath the surface, and he might even ask someone to record it. Like, can you just record? Someone in his family in the background is recording this going on the phone. And something that he might try to bring to court one day to say, hey, no, I give her stuff. Look at this. Here's a video of me giving her something right now. And then, the courts don't know that is the one and only time that he's ever done anything for those children or that child. But this is what I'm talking about with the narcissist. All right. So, yeah, they can go ahead of the situation and talk to these people. And then to people that haven't experienced narcissistic abuse, it's going to sound so far-fetched, And then if you're telling them the situation, they might tend to lean on the normal side with things. Like, you'll tell them, okay, we went through all of this, and now the narcissist wants me to try to co-parent with them and do this after they've done all this abuse and they haven't done anything, told you to get rid of the child, told you they didn't want the situation, and now all of this stuff. And they're like, well, he's the father, maybe he has a right, maybe now he's going to do the right thing, because they don't understand what a narcissist is, So just understand that when you choose to tell people who really don't fully understand what narcissism is, they're going to understand on their own level of thinking, okay? They're going to understand on their own level of thinking. And I don't want you to feel discouraged about that, because if they're understanding on their own level of thinking, which is all anyone could do anyway, it may not give you the level of validation that you were probably seeking in, telling them this information. All right. Now, as far as the situations where people had this suspected this, and you let them know, all types of things can happen in this situation. They could take the route of I told you so, or they can have a lot of empathy for you and sympathy for the situation, and and then sometimes it's may have gone even further down a rabbit hole, even more than what they even suspected to happen. So it might work out well for you as far as them just being that emotional support for you, and, believing what you're saying and standing by your side. All right. And then, most people are in utter disbelief, though, because most people haven't experienced this, so they're not going to understand, and they're going to think that you may be over-exaggerating, that you may be being too hard on this narcissist, and particularly in the instances where you were dealing with a covert narcissist. So anytime, of course, you bring outsiders into your situation, you're going to be opening yourself up to their perceptions, objectives, and opinions, okay? So just go in knowing that, you're the only person that's in your shoes. So no one's going to fully grasp it on 100%. So they may or may not get it, and make your peace with that. So don't go into the situation seeking validation. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. Just go into the situation neutral. You want it to be this way. You want them to receive it. You want them to support you. You want them to, believe you. But a neutral person will go into it understanding, it's possible that they won't be what I want them to be in a situation. It's possible that they won't believe me on a level that I need them to, or at all. It's possible that they might side with the narcissist, So, and then, people, the narcissists, as most abusive people, they isolate you from the people you care about. in some instances, and then that's a relationship that you might try to mend after the fact, and people could be hot or cold or lukewarm to that. So, all you can do is try, and the person is going to accept or decline in their own time. And sometimes they might just need time, depending on what happened, in the situation. All right. So I guess, at the end of the day, is it healthy to say it? Yes. Yes, it's always good. It's like validating yourself by going ahead and saying it out loud. It's okay to say it out loud. Do you have to tell every and anybody within, listening range? No. You can pick and choose who you want to, but I think it's very validating to oneself to go ahead and share that and not bottle it up on the inside of you. Okay? And is it healthy to verify to the people who have suspicions? If you want to. Okay? It's all about what you want. All right? You can do what you want. I'm just letting you know to, see all the different angles of it before you do it, so that you're not further hurting yourself, because here you are healing from narcissistic abuse, and now I'm going to go share this with one of my loved ones, and they don't step up. They don't know how to be there for me. And sometimes that's the case. People don't know how to be there for you in certain situations, okay? They don't know how. So, and in that case, you would have to tell them, okay? All right. So just, keep your mind open, because I don't want you to end up getting hurt. And now you're healing from narcissistic abuse, and now you're further stinging from the situation because nobody believes you, nobody is supporting you. Now you feel further alone, all alone, okay? But even with all of that, if you go into it with the right frame of mind, it's okay. It's okay. The worst case scenario is that they don't believe it, or they're not supportive the way that you want. But, that's okay. That's okay, because you always have yourself, and you always can validate yourself, and you always have God as well. Okay, guys? I was just telling this to someone that had a coaching session with me the other day. Everyone is not going to understand. Everyone is not going to understand. And that's just it. All right. So I hope that this answers your question, about coming forward and voicing yourself. It could be a great strength to other people. You might be talking to someone and they be like, you know what? I kind of experienced something like that before. And you're able to make it come full circle for them. So, sometimes by speaking out and coming forward, you're actually going to be helping other people. And, my situation is a prime example of that, creating this channel and coming forward and speaking about things. Look at how many lives and how many people I'm able to touch, and it brings me so much happiness and joy, because I know what it feels like to go through this abuse. I've had it. I've gone through that abuse ever since I was a child. I was raised by a narcissist, a covert narcissist. Then I ended up marrying one, my first boyfriend. And then years down the line, I had my worst one in between little tiny relationships after my divorce with other narcissists, and then other family members that I found out. So trust me, I have been there and I have done that, and I have been abused in every way that a person could be abused by narcissists. So I understand that pain. I understand the PTSD. I understand, wanting that validation. I understand isolating yourself from people, because after a while, you keep being in all these abusive situations. It's like, I'm done with people. And I had that phase as well. I had that phase where I just didn't want to be bothered. And I was a very social person before, but it was in a toxic manner. After I became healthy, I realized it. I had some codependency about me where I needed to talk to other people and I needed to be around other people because I was seeking the validation that I never got as a child. But I kept turning to other toxic people to get it. Because a healthy person is going to feel that in me and say, okay, this person is really needy perhaps, or this person, there's something unhealthy there. They're going to know and they're going to back away. All right. So, I just want you guys to know that, you know, and in that instance, God is taking those lemons and he's making lemonade, you know. He was like, okay, this sister was in the valley. She was in the valley. She went through this. She went through that. But guess what? I'm going to take that situation. He loves to use people who have been through stuff. He loves to. And if more Christians and more people with God step forward and say where they've been, what they came out of, because people like to just talk about the clean parts of things. Like, no, this is where I used to be. I wasn't always this person. I was sick at a certain time in my life. I went through this. I overcame that. It reaches out to other people and it validates them. So, you know, that's another thing about speaking forward. You know, you could have a little sister, you can have a niece or a nephew. You could tell other people about it. So it's a witnessing type of things. And it's a preventive measure at that point where you're helping to pull other people out of that situation or help teach them so that they won't fall into the traps as well, or that they might have understanding, especially if it's family members and you realize, you know what, this person was the narcissist in our family. My other sisters and brothers had contact with it, you know. But also understand that everybody won't receive it. And they talk about that in the Bible, you know. But God always says, hey, if they don't receive it, go ahead and move on. That's okay. We're not here to push anything down anybody's throat, you know. Because it's quite possible that, you know, let's say it was a parent that was a narcissist and you're reaching out to a sister or a brother and say, you know what, I realize that mom is a covert narcissist, you know, and they may not be in a place of wanting to receive that because, oh, no. Some people don't want to talk about mama. Mama could do no wrong. Okay. So you have to understand that everybody's not going to be in that place. And just as narcissists, parents can create a codependent, they can create other narcissists. And unfortunately, your sibling could have become the latter, you know, because codependency can be healed and narcissism can be healed very rarely by God. If God has to choose to do that, not another person. Okay. But your siblings, because I remember talking to one of my siblings about it one day. Because my stepfather raised me, who's her biological father, and he could do no wrong. And she chose, you know, like all this stuff you're saying, I don't want to hear about that. We had she was idealizing our whole childhood, and she didn't want to receive things that I was telling her the actual truth. She had created a whole nother reality. And, you know, she wanted no parts of the actual reality of things. Okay. So these things happen, especially in the family structure. Everyone does not want to receive it. Everyone doesn't want to receive it, guys. So, you know, when you're coming forward, you have to be prepared for all different kinds of responses. Okay. And you could tell somebody about all this stuff that this narcissist did to you that you really care about. And guess what? They might still maintain a relationship with the narcissist as well. You might call this person playing both sides or on the fence, but things like this happen. And then how are you going to react to that situation? Because you'll feel, how could you dare conversate with this person after everything I told you they just did? How could you still, you know what I'm saying? So you have to prepare yourself. And I'm trying to think of like all kinds of, you know, outcomes here. Because the more that you can think of, the more prepared you are walking into that situation, you know. It's kind of like having that circle of friends, and you realize that one girlfriend is a narcissist, and you're telling another girlfriend, and what happens? She pulls away from you, and now she's best friends with the narcissist somehow. Of course, she probably went back and talked to the narcissist, such and such had something, I'm concerned, is everything okay? And then the narcissist, being a manipulator and a smooth talker and this charming, charismatic person, said something to spin the situation in their favor, working on that person's mind, So we have to think of angles. And I made a video about this, being able to see angles and step outside of our own perceptions. This is a valuable thing in life. And yes, when you're coming forward, this is what you want to do. And you're like, well, I'm already healing from narcissistic abuse. Why do I have to think about all this other stuff? It's a protection. This is a form of protection. Opening your mind and thinking of angles and seeing angles moving forward for the rest of your life is going to always be a form of protection. Because how does it feel to be blindsided? How does it feel to be further crushed and devastated? To not see something coming. To not be prepared for a punch that's coming to your face. Okay? So this is what we're trying to prevent. And hopefully I've been able to do that in this conversation and give you a bunch of angles to begin to look at. Because these narcissists are vicious. They are vicious. I've heard all types of crazy situations. You could have been dating this narcissist and now they're dating someone that's close to you. And you might decide to try to tell them, and the narcissist is in the middle of love bombing them. But, if they were your close friend or family member, it tells you a lot about their character that they're now even entertaining or dealing with this narcissist. Okay? Because it's just some books, some rules and some books that have to deal with loyalty, It's kind of like, this is my best friend and now she divorced her husband and I'm marrying him. What in the world? Some Jerry Springer stuff. But narcissists, they're all about the chaos and the dysfunction. And they will bring it and pull it down. And now they're with this person and they're getting double supply because they know that it's probably bothering you and eating you up. So sometimes they'll do specific things just like that. Fellas, and the female narcissist, okay? She'll go sleep with your father. She'll go sleep with your son. She'll go sleep with your best friend. That is to get back at you. That's that Jezebel in her. You caused that narc injury and now she wants you to feel something. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to go date your father. Turn on her sexual charm and, she's going to come mosey around him. And that is what she's going to do. That's what she's going to do. Guys might do it as well, but the females with that Jezebel spirit in them, they're going to do that. And then, we all know when we go tell this person that's newly love bombed by the narcissist, they're not trying to hear it. They ain't trying to hear none of it. Because they just want to keep feeling good in their flesh, okay? But I hope this video has helped you guys. We got to open our minds and just go into that situation neutral. If you do it that way, it's the most healthy way to approach that situation, okay? All right, guys, if this video resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that and hit the bell, guys. Hit the bell so that you'll be notified every time that I upload a video. And if you have subscribed and you never hit the bell, go ahead and please feel free to do so. I have coaching, guys. If you need that one-on-one from me, I can help give you these angles. I can help make the picture become clear for you. Sometimes we're still in our fog and we're in a healing process and we can't see things objectively like someone standing from the outside, just like people standing on the outside of your relationship. As far as her question on the back end, they were seeing this stuff, but you couldn't see it because you were stuck in that love bomb. You were stuck in, your hopes and your desires and your flesh of wanting things to work out and wanting to believe this person and give them the benefit of the doubt and yada, yada, yada. Okay. The same thing here from someone that has been there and done that and understands this inside and out. I'm going to be able to see this and give you a clear picture pretty quickly of what's going on, and then it'll just be up to you to accept it and receive it and make the adjustments accordingly. Okay, but I do the coaching via email, telephone, and Skype. Money well spent. I had to do it myself in my healing process. It took me to a whole nother level, and it was very refreshing and validating to actually talk to someone who actually understood. Okay, to talk to someone that could actually understand it. So many people don't have people to talk to. And that's important. It's important, okay, to get that sincere validation, okay? But we have to validate ourselves first and foremost, of course. All right, guys, on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, I have wonderful books that can help you creatively help you through the healing process of narcissistic abuse and that self-discovery after a toxic relationship or just going through a lot of abuse in your life, okay? Go ahead and check them out. All this information is in the description of all of my books. And, the channel does accept donations if you feel moved by that and if you've been blessed by my videos. Okay, guys? So, I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. Always feel free to like and share, leave comments down on the bottom. Any other video suggestions, go ahead and